Hey, I just realized we're gonna be needing the dragon radar.
Oh, well, I had it, but then I gave it to Piccolo, right?
Yes, that's right. But I think it's in my other pants pocket. Only, it doesn't make a bit of difference, guys. 10 days gone, remember? The balls are inert.
Wait a second. I think we're jumping the gun a bit.
What? The balls are inert. It doesn't make a bit of difference, guys.
But it's still there.
Yes, but I think it doesn't make a bit of difference, guys. The balls are inert.
The balls are
But it's
Gohan, the balls are inert. Gohan.
But it's
Impossible! My balls aren't there!
It's in my other pants pocket. Only, it doesn't make a bit of difference, guys.
Can't be. My balls
Are inert.
Does that mean they don't work?
Yes.
Yes.
I've been keeping tabs on the man
He's been
lately.
keeping tabs on his
Only,
balls.
it doesn't make a bit of difference, guys.
Just take a look at this.
Stop it! Don't open that door!
Oh shit, this truck is falling out. Oh god, it's gonna crush my face. I'm gonna punch it off. Oh god, my face hurting. Oh god, this thing getting close. I can't stop it. Oh god, the truck's gonna crash. Oh shit, god damn it, too. I didn't pull this fucking truck on me. Oh god, just gonna smash me. Oh god, this is freaking. Oh, it's getting closer. Oh shit, I gotta get hold of. Oh god, oh damn it.
What? What is this?
Super Mario Sunshine!
Yes, that's it. It's obvious. I guess I let the stress get to my balls.
Stop it! Hammer time!
Hey, I just realized.
The balls in my other pants make a bit of difference, guys. Unless he's managed to improve in the last hour.
So, the balls have been inert for 19 years. That's right. We have been memeing this series for 20 years now, guys. Congratulations. There's been 20 years of Dragon Ball memes. You just take that to the insane asylum with you, you know?
Feels like it's been longer than that.
Yeah, I'm sure people had like proto memes, you know, but arguably the balls are inert was the first big one to go out there, the first of the YouTube poops about Dragon Ball to go viral, if you will. So.
Yeah.
But speaking of viral, 21 inches of snow has fallen on Sapporo, Japan in less than 24 hours.
Yep, so it's not only the East Coast and the South that's dealing with snow.
The U.S.
I'm in the West Coast, so I don't have to deal with snow. It's just freezing here.
For now. But the 22 inches of snow in 24 hours is a lot. That's a lot of snow, by the way. If you're not familiar, that's almost 2 feet of snow that's come down on this poor place. As you can see here, there is the shadow of a 7-Eleven here, and then a bunch of burial mounds. It was basically a bunch of burial mounds on the side of the road where those poor drivers ended up at the end of their time in the snow. So this also comes in the same month that Godzilla was sworn in as a police chief for a day. So make of that what you will. But perhaps the gods of Japan were just pleased with Godzilla being made a police chief with all the mayhem he causes and whatnot.
Well, Godzilla could probably heat up Japan.
Yeah, right? I don't know if it's the heat they want, though. I don't know if it's the heat they want. We have Nerdy Texas Accountant here, member of the channel, saying, hello, everyone.
I feel bad for you in Texas because I know you guys have a lot of snow.
A lot for Texas, yeah.
And there's also, I saw footage of there being like a snownado, like a tornado in, I think it was what, like Central Texas?
I'm surprised they haven't made that into an asylum movie yet. Sci-Fi Channel, come on, man, you slacking. But, it's like it's a bunch of killer snowmen that are sucked up in a instead of sharks, it's a bunch of killer snowmen. But we also have Sakura Meter asking, have you used AI recently? It went idiot mode, like it forgot things in the data. I don't know if it forgot things so much as things were deleted. A bunch of cases went through recently about copyright control over stuff with the big corporations. And so a lot of stuff was taken from the data pool. But the thing is that it's never ever really gone, kind of like the Star Wars thing. It's never ever really gone. What you have to do is just have to learn how to speak the language again. like I said, dealing with this in a in like a website that aggregates all of these into one place, like a place like FreePick, the website that I use, that makes this a lot easier because you can experiment with the different engines. So, but yeah, it has Suno actually, where I generated the music for a lot of the stuff I used to post on the channel here. That won a case with Warner Brothers, and they settled outside of court to allow Warner Brothers to have part of the profits from Suno, so they'd stop the legal thing. So now Suno has permission to use all that crazy stuff. I just realized that the other day. I'm not getting hit with this sounds like this other song anymore. They don't have that filter on anymore. Either that or my shit sucks. I don't know. It could be that.
Well,
But,
also speaking of Warner Brothers, Looney Tunes found a new home. It seems like with Turner Classic Movies.
Oh, good. So it's not gone forever.
Yeah, so hopefully this means, because I did double check to see if Turner Classic Movies gets like home video releases, and they do through Warner Movies right now. So hopefully there will be like mega release of all the Looney Tunes. And from what I was reading, there the releases also have like all these bonus features and stuff like that too. So if there is like a mega Looney Tunes release that has every single short on there, that it will have like a bunch of bonus features like behind the scenes and stuff like that. So we can only hope.
Right. But speaking of fancy things, there is a Poke Park in Kanto now.
Yeah, it's coming.
We have an official trailer for it. Of course, we're going to kill the sound here. But this is in Japanese, just so you guys know. But this is a Poke Park, apparently.
Yep. It looks really cool. Like there's an actual Pokemon Center with a Nurse Joy and a Chansey.
So this is intended to be a real place?
Yeah, this is a real place. They have statues of Pokemon everywhere.
The perfect height to trip on. But yeah, no, this is apparently you'll just be able to wander around here. I can't wait for all the tourists to destroy it.
Oh God, I hope they don't destroy it. I mean, look at that. There's a Pokemon Center. There's like the the Pokemon marts from the game.
So they did Disneyland, but with
Pokemon. Yeah, and from what I saw inside one of the stores, they have the ears too. You know, like the Disney ears, but like it's with Pokemon ears. There's the ninja. Look at that. That's so cool.
Pikachu ears, right?
Yeah, they have like the different evolution ears.
Oh, okay.
They have ears for like I think what was it? They have ears for like a good chunk of the Pokemon. It's so cool. I want to go. That looks like so much fun.
You know,
and they have an evolution like merry-go-round where you could ride one of like a Jolteon, a Flareon, or a Vaporeon. But
probably not Vaporeon. Probably not Vaporeon.
Well, they have a saddle on it, so it's not going to hurt you.
No,
or Jolteon either.
No. You remember that meme that went around that Vaporeon was the most sexable?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Probably not Vaporeon. That one's not going to stay up there long. I promise you. The first week where everybody's humping the thing, they're going to take that one off. That one's going to get replaced with the second Sylveon.
Oh, they've been doing that. They're trying to get all Looney Tunes and Merry Melodies remastered on Blu-ray. Yeah, that's good. I'm glad to see that.
Well, at least it ends up being something you can pass on to your kids anyway. You know.
Yeah, especially since like a lot of people have been worried about the Looney Tunes not being available to watch at all. So
we do have Phantom Crustacean here saying, don't feed Game Freaks honey trap. This is exactly what they want. Do not give them your money. Well, we'll have to wait for Pal Park, I guess, because at this rate, Pal World's is going to eat Pokemon. So you saw that they're putting out a trading card game, right?
Yeah, I mean, Pokemon's competing with, from what I saw, One Piece's card game is selling out like crazy. I think One Piece cards are, from what one of the toy hunters that I follow on YouTube who collects One Piece cards as well as Pokemon cards, One Piece cards are selling out just as fast, maybe even faster than Pokemon cards are right now.
of course.
Because One
Well, I
Piece is
mean,
getting popular.
well, exactly. It's spread beyond the borders of Japan now, and beyond the borders of Japan appreciators. It's become things that normies talk about, and so everybody's got to have a little piece of it. And I don't know. We're just gonna end up with like this cycle of who can do the better thing, do the thing better than the last guy. Because we got Pokemon trying to outdo Disneyland, and we've got Pal World trying to outdo Pokemon, and One Piece is outdoing Pokemon already, but for how long?
Well, Naruto has a theme park coming to France, which makes sense considering the French Mint did a Naruto coin not too long ago. So there is that.
What the fuck? Why did they do it now?
Naruto's really popular in France.
I just can't put it together. I just can't.
I'm surprised there isn't. I know there's a Dragon Ball theme park in Saudi Arabia that's coming. I'm surprised there isn't one in Latin America because it's way, way more popular in Latin America.
Oh, hey, good news. You have Nerdy Texan Accountant here who's like an archivist of this stuff, Nerdigan. So
yeah,
it may come down to Nerdy Texan Accountant being like their resource for the quality footage they need to upscale. So, hey, man, thank you. There was this lady that recently got recognized because she like recorded all the news stories that were on her television show over like 40 years. And because she did, they have like court cases were able to be like, settled because she had the evidentiary footage and stuff. It was crazy. Yeah, really crazy. Yeah, and that's you're right. It's getting pretty rough in Iran.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait and see what happens, but it's also going to end up getting pretty rough for the manga sites out there. Cacao.
Yeah, Cacao. Yeah, it's. You know what's funny though? Like I pointed this out too because Cacao is the one that was behind Manga Dex too, and comics as well. It's just funny to me because it's not the Japanese publishers that are going after these manga sites at all. It's the Koreans that are. It's like the Japanese publishers know that these sites are great for them because it gets the manga out. And it actually helps a lot of the Western publishers decide which series to license a good chunk of the time.
Alpha Omega's right, though. You take out one and four more take its place. It's the Hydra.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure. And also another thing is that a lot of the scanlators, the fan translators, they get hired by these publishers all the time. I mean, best example we talk about it a lot is the translators for the Kengan series. Daryl Mion, the mangaka, handpicked the actual scanlators, the translators, to do the official translation for the Kengan series on Kamiki. So it's just funny to me that, especially in Cacao's case, their app is complete ass. Like it's practically unusable, and the only way that their mama is the word about their mama is getting anywhere is through the pirate sites.
Yeah, apparently they scale. Yeah, they scale. That's how the pirate sites work. But again, that's what ends up happening. You take someone's source away. It's like Alpha Omega said here that like the locked forums are the only way to really go about this in any safe, consistent way. If you want to engage in that, I'm of course not endorsing that because this is a YouTube show, and we of course would not want to endorse going around the law in any way, shape, or form.
Well, like something that I've noticed with the Japanese publishers specifically is that as long as like you are not releasing scans of like the chapters before it comes out in Japan, it seems like they don't mind it as much.
Yeah.
It's when you release it like before it comes out, that's when they have a problem.
At some point after it's published out, it just becomes sort of online discussion. It's not, you sort of appreciate it being distributed beyond its boundaries.
Yeah, the mangaka do. And I've talked to mangaka about it as well. And what a lot of mangaka want, they want their manga to be, a lot of them dream about like overseas audiences reading their series. And
Of course.
and
Who wouldn't here want to have their stuff read and absorbed and appreciated, maybe loved by the Japanese audience, you know?
Exactly. And a lot what the scan leaders do is that as soon as it's officially licensed and available, well, usually simulpubbed available, is that they'll stop. They'll stop scan leading it. It's not a problem. They respect it. They respect the authors and all that. Or if the author tells them to stop, they'll stop. It's not rocket science. Well, in the case of like something like Jujutsu Kaisen, though, for example, or One Piece even, the translations are not the best. Business localizations are very questionable, especially with Jujutsu Kaisen, with what John Weary did to Jujutsu Kaisen. Oh my god, it's bad. It's really, really bad.
It's like
So it's
Alpha Omega.
understandable.
It's like Alpha Omega says here, the JP publishers also hate when you release things available in your region that isn't years behind. This cuts into their profits. It's true. It's true. I mean, again, in order to pay for these mangaka to continue making this stuff, they have to make a profit somewhere. We're not accusing these guys of being evil for trying to seek a profit, not in any way, shape, or form. It's just, you know, at some point you have to get into this. I'm trying to avoid endorsing piracy. I'm sorry. You have to get into this way of thinking that if you want the entertainment, you seek it out. And the corporations, like I've said all since we started talking about this piracy stuff, the corporations should start their own piracy sites. They should be in charge of it. Just leak out whatever you want, dude. Then you're in complete control of it. Sell memberships. And you just tell them, like, this is secure space. You're getting real deal pirated stuff, buddy. Meanwhile, it's just the CEO sending it off, you know, or whoever's in charge of social media.
I mean, that's what Crunchyroll was. Crunchyroll was a pirate site originally.
Well, just do it. You know, own the pirate sites. Then you're in control of it. Then you know what's out in the world. You can experiment. Then you have a pool of people that are just anxious to get a hold of things that are, you know, pirates, you know. Memberships and ads every other channel, every other chapter. Yeah, you're absolutely right. That would be their first move. Yep, they'd have to. Yeah, but that again, like that's the whole thing. Is that like if you can harness that market, you're good to go.
Well, the other thing is, and a lot of people say this too, is that like before they buy an actual volume of the series, they want to know what they're getting into, and that's why they read the scans as well. And a lot of pirates will tell you they will buy like merch for the series, or they will buy actual volumes of the series if they know they like it. Hi, Spencer. There was too much news to cover. Like I couldn't avoid it.
You know, Dragon Balls are crack. Comes out for Dragon Ball, you know.
But yeah, like the sites that they're targeting, what they're saying here, instead of freaking fixing their crap app that is basically like Crunchyroll, well, I would say it's worse than Crunchyroll because it's unusable. They would rather go after pirate sites like Comics, which is a new one, and Weeb Central, which was formerly Manga Life and Manga for Life, respectively. And it's really dumb. It's so stupid. You guys over at Kakao are dumb. Like, make your site usable and readable, and make more of the manga that's being pirated available, and you will have people go there, like no problem. But that's the reason why people are not going there to read your read manga on Kakao, is because it's complete crap.
Well, and speaking of crap, talk about a defeatist mentality. My gosh, like this is just like the most, you know, take old Yeller out behind the barn. DC Comics boss says anime and manga's advantage over Western comics lies in people want it. Like that's what he's saying here. The storytelling. Well, what the fuck are you doing with the comic? Then young people's desire to have something. What the fuck are you doing with the story? What are you doing? Okay. I'm an advocate of mothballing Superman and Batman for 50 years or more, just completely resetting the DC universe where you clear all the characters out but keep the world. The world and the rules are very nice. They work very nicely. The characters are a little threadbare. I concede this. However, Dragon Ball is celebrating its 40th year telling the same damn story. Everybody just changes their hair when some stronger asshole with crazier horns in his head shows up, okay? That's it. It's a formula. The Super Sentai, of course, is wrapping up 50 years, but it's been going with 50 years with the same formula of 5 people get together and beat the ass off a guy in a rubber suit.
I mean, look
But
at
for
Gundam.
whatever reason, we can't run 6 issues of Superman over and over and over again. We just can't. We're getting 6 new issues every week, and it's just created a clusterfuck of trying to tell this character's story. And he's very basic, like Goku. He saves the day, then he fucks off somewhere else to save the day again. It's not hard.
Well, something else that he said, it was like DC as in American comics have put themselves in this box of like superheroes, whereas anime and manga have like spread itself and spread it as broadened its horizons. It's not so limited.
So
and it's more like a novel in a way.
You can ask yourself about that, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is the shonen manga not a superhero comic? You just don't have him in spandex. I think My Hero Academia really pulled the mask on shonen characters. Is that
and One Punch Man? Well, One Punch Man is not shonen. That's a seinen. That's
right.
It's different.
That's supposed to be a parody of superheroes, though. So that's where that comes from. But what I mean is that your average shonen hero is almost mirroring what Spider-Man went through. Some event. It's the usual hero's arc. It's not difficult. But again, what we're trying to do, I think what he's missing when he says we're doing superheroes is he's pretending, if you will, that the comics are trapped to telling the moral at the end storytelling style, instead of doing what One Piece does and sit in and tell a 20-year story, or still going after 40, however long. And so that's really the thing that they need to focus on is sit down, put Superman in a universe and leave him there. Don't put him in another book. Don't put him in a universal crisis. Don't have Batman call Superman up for coffee. Superman is on a venture by himself. Batman's doing fine in that absolute Batman series that I hate with all my might. So let him go. Let him stay there in that grim, dark, evil place where he is. People seem to love it. Let him go. But they're not. They're going to cut it off and set him back to the beginning. And they're going to be like, hello, I'm Superman. I'm from another world. This is the first time I'm ever doing this again. Because they can't help it. They have to go find some other random asshole like Tom King and be like, hey, man, do you want to completely destroy the continuum of this character for cheap laughs? Here we go. Just buy Grant Morrison. Just buy him. Buy him. Just buy Grant Morrison, put him in charge of shit, and leave him there for 10 years. I guarantee the problem we have with comics is the fact that it's a completely new story every year. Just about every year on the dot, characters just get done. Not January 1st, but there's a year-long cycle, and then it's just reset to zero again. What the hell? Of all the things you could learn from manga, the short-term storytelling just doesn't work.
For some
Yes,
series,
insiders endorsing slavery. Well, it's Grant Morrison. He's a worshiper of chaos. He'll enjoy that,
Well, some series it does work for short-term stories, but that's its own self-containing story.
Well, sure, but again, it's not. They're
Superman
not.
we're talking about here, so
Right, they're not plucking Vegeta out of his universe and sending him off on a random adventure that has fuck nothing to do with that. They don't do that. That's the big problem. Is if you want new characters to play around with, make them. For God's sakes, you're the head of DC Comics. What the hell are you trapped to? Who is on your head telling you can't make another hero? You can't start a story about a guy who plays tennis. You can't start a story about a gambling king unless he's in spandex, apparently. It's just like, I don't understand where this mentality comes from with these guys. Of all the people, I could get this from some random blogger that's complaining about the state of comics. But the DC boss conceding, people don't want our shit. Kids don't feel like they're a part of it. Shit's fucked, bro. What? Just make a new hero. DC Comics presents I'd say Eye Shield, like the manga Eye Shield.
yeah.
Like a football one. It's just football or basketball, like Slam Dunk. It's just an ongoing story about a basketball team. They don't have superpowers. You just make it look cool like they did in the manga. And I don't understand. I failed to see. Well, it won't sell. Neither's anything else, jackass.
Gotta take a risk at this point.
And that's what it is that as soon as something works like Absolute Batman, everything in the entire line has to go like grim, dark, evil, the bleakest world possible. And then when something like Superman, the one that Grant Morrison did, All-Star Superman does well, wow, everything's going to be all happy and relentlessly optimistic now. It's just, there's
so
no, right. Well, there's no through thread. There's no, look, My Hero Academia ran for 15 years?
10 years.
10 years and then wrapped up. Why the hell can't we do DC Academy, Justice Academy for 10 years? Why is it so hard to get through a 5-year in-universe cycle in sort of a procedural manner? So you take 10 years to tell the story of freshman to senior. Why is this so hard? I don't understand. You have all the resources right there in front of you. You've got all the crazy characters you could imagine going through puberty. They'd be hilarious. But no, we're not going to do that. Like,
Nah, they would try and wokify it probably and make it really stupid.
well, there's always that, sure. But the biggest sticker is that they just have no faith in telling a story longer than 6 to 10 issues.
That's the problem. They can't do that. You got to make a commitment.
Well, they've transformed the medium from being something that's supposed to convey a short story into a medium that conveys a galactic encounter, you know? And if you keep doing that, people expect that. So now you can't tell a story about Spider-Man just picking his ass somewhere and getting sucked up by Madam Web into an afternoon of ass kicking in another universe and dropped back in New York to pick his ass again. You can't do that. People expect that to lead to a way bigger confrontation now. And because of that, they're still stuck in the mentality that we can just slam dunk this 6-issue thing like Grandpa did, despite the audience expecting My Hero Academia from issue 1 to issue the end. And it's stupid. You know, Alpha Omega has his modern comics are the result of putting all your eggs in the superhero basket, never ending it or making it incredibly gay. Kind of like all the above, though, really. But the big issue about that is, right, they didn't even stick to that. They couldn't even stick to that. Every other story that was coming out was just like, whoops, 180 degrees different from the last effort. So you had Batman going through a divorce in one line, and in another one, he was having his face. No, that was Absolute Batman. The Joker was cutting his face off. His own face, somebody else's face. The Joker was wearing somebody else's face. That's all I know. It was freaky. There were 3 Jokers or some insane bullshit that had to do with Batman for some reason. This is another problem with DC is that you've had Batman around so long. He's done everything. So they have to move him now into the supernatural, where he's only been tiptoed into a few times. Batman's always just dealt with like chemically scarred freaks. And now he's fighting Swamp Things monsters and teaming up with Hellraiser and going off with Zatanna and Justice League Dark. And it's like, okay, you got bored with Gotham. You couldn't kill Two-Face again. You can't kill the Joker. So what do? You take Batman out of all that and throw him into an environment he's unfamiliar with. He's a fish out of water, but he's still a badass. Good effort, guys. Good effort.
Create new villains or something.
It's the thing is that they, like Alpha Omega said, they put all their eggs in one basket, but they wouldn't let any progression happen in that style. Batman Beyond is the perfect example of this. What the hell is Terry McGinnis to us now but a memory?
Exactly. They should be doing more with Terry McGinnis. They could be doing like Terry McGinnis and Nightwing doing stuff.
We have a whole culture of people who are terrified of AI. So Terry McGinnis battling AI.
With Nightwing.
Sure, with a Nightwing Beyond, whatever you want to call him, or her, whoever it is. That would be perfect. You're in the middle of an AI confrontation where the suit has been like hardened against being attacked, but everything else is pregnable. So it's the bat suits versus the AI. And you can throw in your Terminator references. You can throw in all of they thought it was a good idea 20 years ago. All of that, snippety talk they did in the Neo Gotham show. But again, they're not going to. Well, he's not Bruce, so he's not going to move enough people. Well, he's never going to.
like there's a generation. Our generation loves Terry McGinnis. Like our generation is dying for more Terry McGinnis.
Well, that's just it. Is the corporation doesn't think so. The corporation says, well, you know, he doesn't move as many books as Bruce does, and so they just dropped him. There's licensing issues with WB that they refuse to resolve, I guess, even though WB is not going to be their property much longer.
Yeah.
So Netflix might settle that. We might get a Batman Beyond series, but I doubt it. They're not ballsy enough either.
No.
It's just one of those things where the opportunity to do all of this was there. You had Jonathan Kent. You had a young Jonathan Kent, and then you did this weird future skip with him. And you had to throw in all of this current day politics into it that completely spoiled whatever they were trying to do with him. And so if you just took him and Damian back to Super Sons and did a, like, imagine Kamen Rider, but they don't have helmets.
Or the DC Academy kind of shit too.
Well, sure, you could do that, but it's live action. So it's like a tokusatsu show.
Yeah.
So you have the characters, but they're not wearing helmets. You know, they have the armor, but you don't, because the Americans, we like to show our face for whatever reason. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out where that showed up, because the Europeans don't do this. It's just very unique to the Americans that we want to go into battle with our head completely uncovered, but everything else armored with like this much armoring on it, you know, this thick armor. But the old Decision Engine, she's just left to the wind, I guess. But the, again, like this would be like how you could get people into it, by focusing on those characters, divorcing them of their dad. You know, Bruce and Clark are just off doing their thing. They've trusted these kids at Justice Academy. And, you know,
we had Young Justice and people loved Young Justice.
You know, the live action Teen Titans was
bad.
Shaky, you know, pretty shaky. You know, so if you can avoid all of that interpersonal, emotional crap, and again, like focus like a tokusatsu show does on what's important in the emotional, interpersonal dynamic, you know, then you'll be fine. But they won't. The risk reward for them is too high when it comes to legacy characters. They want the prime cut Superman and Batman, but the problem is people just burned out on those characters. That's why they had to go and make Bruce into an entirely different guy in Absolute Batman in order to get people interested in it. I mean, yes, sure, Alfred's present. He has bat symbolism, but he has a completely different backstory. His mother's alive. His father was a dump truck.
Oh my, his father was a dump truck.
There's that one panel where he's like sitting in front of a dump truck and he says, "I failed you." And it's implying that Bruce is the son of a dump truck. He's big enough, that's for sure. He's built enough to be the son of a dump truck. But
that sounds like something straight out of a manga that someone would be the son of a dump truck.
Sure. I mean, there was that video game about the construction crews that fought each other. That actually,
oh God.
There was that when the Game Grumps played it. It was absolutely hilarious. WB owns the rights to Batman Beyond's a core plot construct. Something about it that's very integral to what Batman Beyond is part of WB Studios, because they are the ones that birthed the concept, I believe. If I understand, that's what the big hiccup about putting anything Batman Beyond together in an official like animated series or live action movie or anything like that, even a video game. WB has like the animation studio has like some licensing control over like the core pieces of it. And for whatever reason, WB doesn't want to review that or make it available for sale.
It's got to be the same thing with Static Shock too, huh?
That one has to do with Dwayne Duffy's family being in charge of the licensing for Static, and I don't know exactly if Static is like available for movies, TV, and video game, but he is available in the comics because they just did one of.
I hate what they did with him in the comics. That just like robbed him of what a lot of people liked about Static Shock.
Yeah, and apparently in this new comic, he's pretty rough. Yeah, it's just barely let Beyond be used in the comics, like in 2021. Yeah, Future's End was like the most Terry McGinnis we've gotten. There is one where Batman Beyond and Static are teamed up, but I'm not sure if that's Terry. That's where I'm confused. Is I'm not sure if that's Terry or Damian in the suit. I don't know why I'm confused on that, but I wanted to say that Terry wasn't the Batman Beyond in the one with Static. There was a different person in the suit, but I could be wrong. But Static was his mentor, if you will. He was like the older, I guess, the antidote to Bruce's hardline attitude. Oh, Future State. That's what it was. Future State. Tim Beyond. Okay, so all right. So Static Beyond is currently okay, so Terry, that's where I got confused. Okay, so I thought it was Tim again. There you go. So there we go. Yeah, again, like I don't know what the weakness is with Terry. Like he's just a really cool character. He was a lot of fun. I think he really spoke to the millennium, the changing of the guard that everybody was feeling at the beginning of the 2000s, that this is a whole new millennium. It's all ours to shape. You know, he was really part of that feeling of, I don't know, new, for lack of a better term.
Well, like that futuristic kind of feel.
The expectation of the future, maybe, right? Bit of the expectation of it. And they just immediately dropped it once it was over. It was like,
I'd love to see like a Static and Terry versus AI versus the machines. That would just be really cool.
I mean, there have been a lot of stories over the years of like a blown out future because of the machines. Like that's not Fortnite, the other one, Overwatch. It's Overwatch's like whole thing is blown out future. Well, not post blown out future.
Yeah,
he was
that's
part
true.
of that feeling of we, the kids, will eventually be allowed to guide the future as we get over.
Yeah, him and Static were like that, and especially the cartoon.
Yeah, but now it's just no Boomer Bruce forever. Yeah, how about that? Isn't that fun? We'll just keep reliving Bruce Wayne's origin story for eternity. But speaking of things that are like repeating, but we want them to, we do have an update about a new Dragon Ball series that is going to be somewhat of a redo.
Yes. So Dragon Ball Super Beerus, this is what I've gotten from it. So it's going to be, and this is the start of like the like the Kai version of Dragon Ball Super, so to speak. In the case of Beerus, it's going to be 6 episodes. And it's, from what I'm hearing, it's going to incorporate some of the content from the Dragon Ball Super manga into it, which is really, really good. And the art animation for this looks stunning. And what I'm hoping they're going to do, if they're going to go this route, is when they get to the Goku Black arc, that they're going to like have it mostly be an adaptation of the manga version of the Goku Black arc, because oh my god, if you have not read the Dragon Ball Super manga version of Goku Black and have only watched the anime, you have missed out. You have missed out on a good story, because that version is so much better than the anime. It really is. But a lot of people, like, this does fix a lot of the art animation problems that Dragon Ball Super's anime had. I mean, look at that. It's just so beautiful. And especially from like the infamous episode 5, like that got fixed. You'll see it in the trailer too. Like, you see how beautiful it is. We don't know. One thing we don't know though, and I kind of hope they will address it in this as well, is the Super Saiyan 4.
Connected it, Nerdigans. Okay, that's my fault. I never connected it. My brain just never put together.
Yeah, it's
that
not Super Saiyan, it's just power. Yeah, it's not Super Saiyan, just power.
I don't know. It's just like everybody else cranked up their power level, you know, and so I'm not trying to make fun of the stupidity of it. I'm just trying to make fun of like just how crazy it is that kid has so much power that she was able to lend it through her mother into her grandfather to kick the ass of a cat man, a pre-diabetic cat man. I might remind you. It's just, wow. The sons, you know, like Son Goku, the Sun families, the Skywalkers of the Saiyan race. My gosh. Just unstoppable people. But we do have the 40th anniversary
Oh, this
video
was
that's poking
beautiful.
through. So we'll take a look at that.
But this is this art and animation was by Kubota. And the cool thing about the music is it's done by Hans Zimmer, of all people.
Oh.
Why isn't it going?
It is.
I thought you clicked on it. There it goes.
I didn't know it opened another window. My bad.
Oh. We missed the beginning of it.
Oh, okay.
So freaking hyped. Anyone who has read the Dragon Ball Super manga and is up to date with it, especially, you guys are probably extremely hyped for the Moro arc. Moro is one of the best villains in Dragon Ball, especially modern Dragon Ball. He is incredible. He is a goat. Well, he's the goat man, obviously. He is a goat wizard man. He is amazing.
Like he was the one that Babidi feared.
When I say that he kind of feared. He has a connection to Majin Buu and
right,
and the Kais.
Yes,
yeah,
okay, that's where it came from. Because I was remembering that Majin Buu was connected to Moro.
Yeah, because he was connected to the Kais, to the Supreme Kai, to the Great Kai. Yeah. There's a really good moment with that, and Vegeta has an incredible character arc here in the Moro arc, because he does go back to he goes to New Namek and like kind of begins his redemption arc there, and like it's so good.
Now there is another announcement out there about the next Dragon Ball game being set 300 years into the future.
Yes, and the year 1000 is actually, or the 1000 AD is actually the same year for Dragon Ball Online, setting wise. So a lot of people have begun speculating that that this is going to retcon a lot of stuff from Dragon Ball Online, or there might be elements of Dragon Ball Online in this game. So that will be very interesting to see. That also, Toriyama, this is probably the final game that Toriyama worked on, because this was in the works for, I think they said 6 years. So Toriyama worked on this game.
Yeah.
We don't know what kind of game it will be yet. That's why people have speculated that this could be a situation like Dragon Ball Online, which was an MMO game. There could be elements of it.
We have Dude Man here saying, hot take, American comic books can just be as diverse as manga. The problem is that huge comic book IPs like Marvel or DC are morons. Like if you pitch a cooking comic to DC or Marvel.
Yeah.
Well, and you're looking at kind of the example here. Capsule Corp has given these developers permission to take the Dragon Ball lore, advance it 1,000 years, and create a whole new cast.
Or 300 years.
300 years, sorry. 300 years into the future, that creates a whole new cast. So I don't know if we'll be dealing with a descendant of Goku or just some random new people that discover a Saiyan somewhere. But that kind of permission to experiment just doesn't exist over here. You're allowed to take Batman and fling him anywhere you want. You're allowed to take Superman, fling him anywhere you want. Wonder Woman, fling her anywhere you want. Aquaman, so on and so forth. But you cannot go creating your new characters now. They just have this very, very, very tight lid on what gets to be introduced into the universe now, and it has to be something that fits today's politics.
I mean, Japan's doing more innovative things with Marvel and DC characters. I mean, we saw Superman, like in the Superman manga, just go around and try different food. Batman, he got turned into a baby, for Christ's sake.
But, you know, and again, like the American comics will give you a 6-issue run to go crazy with. Look at what Tom King did to Batman in his divorce or wedding he didn't get to have, you know, and just being heartbroken about the whole thing. Like showing Batman crying, and it's like, I understand what you're trying to convey, but I don't believe that this is the character to do it with.
Well, Deadpool's going around the different multiverses in Deadpool Samurai.
Well, sure.
He's just we just finished up the World's End Harem universe. Oh my god, that shit was so funny.
Well, yeah, you have Dude Man saying great examples are Invincible, Scott Pilgrim versus the World, Hellboy, are examples of original great comic IPs. Well, I would only interject about Invincible because Invincible is a clear shot at Superman. That was a clear as day shot at satirizing, not in like goofy character sense, but parodying or taking the Superman concept to its nth degree. And that's so I would argue that one's not so much free of that trope. If had Invincible not come to be, DC Comics would be doing absolute Superman as a Viltrumite. That would be his story, is that he is born and bred to kill and destroy and enslave. And that would be absolute Superman's story. But because Invincible exists, they can't do that. So, or at least not as like on the nose as that. But you're right. Scott Pilgrim would have never been made by DC if it was brought to them. They would have shied right away from that. We can't. No. Some skateboarder kid with a sword. Well, what the hell are you talking about? He's Canadian. Get out of here. And they're not. They wouldn't have done that. Hellboy. They would have tried to make that into a Hellraiser story. They would have tried to Zantana that. It would have gotten completely watered down. It wouldn't have been like the Eldritch horror thing. It just would have gotten confused in DC's very mangled fantasy setting. So that's another, like, they have their cosmic setting pretty well ironed out. It's just their fantasy setting's complete shit. Like there's next to no order to how that universe works because magic again is total bullshit. But anyway, again, you won't get a magical girl series. Like you got Zantana, right?
Mm-hmm.
Magical girl Madoka harass. No, we can't do it. We can't have that. We can't be magical girling Zantana. She's got to be some sexy burlesque dancer because people under 60 know what the fuck that is.
You could still do a magical girl series with a burlesque dancer kind of theme. You could totally do that.
But they won't. They're not brave enough to go all the way with it. They'll just make her some fashionista and she happens to do magic. They won't go all the way with it. Nor will they stick with it. They'll give it a 6 to 10, issue run and then jump. It's the fatal flaw of this stuff. When I was designing, it's true. Yeah, you can, but they won't. Yeah, exactly. You could definitely can make it work. I mean, look at Japan. They absolutely have. But like DC will not take that leap. Marvel might experiment with the concept. The Hellfire Gala got them out of just wrapping people in random spandex. So I'm not saying the Hellfire Gala was a win or anything, but it was definitely a break from the usual flair of superhero suits. So you could probably get a fashionista magical girl series out of them, at least 6 issues, That's why when I was designing the Colossals, the point of them was to run for 25 years and then be done. That's the shelf life of most of these stories before people are just like, okay, we're doing the same thing again. There's just a different guy and different hair colors now. And so that's kind of like the idea behind all of this is that you have a character that runs for 25 years and then you get them out. You got a universe to work with. You've created perfect rules in the DC universe. I know it better than Marvel. That's why I bring it up. You got perfect rules in there. The triangle of power makes perfect sense, holds everybody honest to one another. So your fights actually make sense and why one hero always manages to kick the ass of another villain they've never met because their powers are different. It makes sense. It holds together. The cosmic is in good shape. The regular day-to-day superhero, ground level, street hero stuff, pretty good shape. Magical stuff, some bullshit still. But again, plenty of bones to work with, but they will not move these characters from the 1930s out. They will not do it. They're just like, no, our World War II action figures are the best. Go play with your anime. And that's it. It's done. The best webtoons were heavily political. It depends on what you wanted out of them, really. The Ultimate Showdown, I can't say that was political. I mean, Optimus Prime smashed Abraham Lincoln. I don't really think that was a commentary on the trucking market destroying racism or something. I have no idea, what you could infer from that. But they weren't dealing with U.S. politics per se, not even modern ones sometimes. Well, I'm sure anime is just chock full of political and sort of references. But because I'm an American and I'm not, marinated in the ground level Japanese politics, I don't perceive that. So for me, the story is free of that guy over there, or that lady over there, or that person or group, or that aggrieved group. It's just not there, you know? So I don't understand, because I don't have like the ground level view of the politics, unless it's some like really on the nose thing, like it was in Kamen Rider Black. There's Black Sun. There's no, I'm not going to draw a conclusion there, again, unless it's something really obvious. So, yeah. They weren't preaching to me about politics. Yeah, that's what you mean. Sure, yeah, of course. So, there's a lot of stuff that had a lot of overtones in it. It's pretty obvious that Star Wars is the story of Satan versus, angels, God, Jesus, the good side. It's pretty obvious that those types of politics are there. Yeah. Yep. If you can define it as politics, I guess, but those Christian themes are present there. But that brings me back around to this, is that I was thinking about this today. Like, England obviously has, the Lord of the Rings. The US has Star Wars, and it appears that Japan, their great adventure story, not that One Piece doesn't deserve it, but it appears that Dragon Ball is that crowning story, the way that Lord of the Rings is.
Well, yeah. Well, One Piece wouldn't exist without Dragon Ball, so
that's valid. That's very valid.
It says you can. Oh, yeah, I agree with Spencer on that. You can read the Christian themes into it, but Lucas did not make Star Wars with an explicit Christian meaning. I agree with that.
Okay.
Well, Dragon Ball is like that too. There's no Christian shit up in Dragon Ball as well.
Okay. Is what it is. But regardless, this is their story.
The grand adventure.
Yeah, it seems to be that's what it is for them. I don't know what China's is, because I disregard.
It would probably be Journey to the West, if anything.
I don't know if they've made a story like a modern tale out of that. That's their Greek myth, if you will. That's very ancient storytelling. So I don't know if they've made a modern interpretation. You got Black Myth Wukong. It's a video game that's come out and captured a lot of imagination. So maybe it'll evolve into its own franchise. Like, it has manga. Well, of course it won't be manga and anime because China's up its own ass. But you know what I mean. If they, a modern retelling of that sort of story. And then you have, and Korea is another one, I guess. South Korea is another one that I would guess would be kind of vague on, because I can't say that Solo Leveling speaks to the Korean experience, despite its popularity. I don't really know what would be their modern mythos, their modern myth. Yeah, they make a new song, Wukong Media, like every few months. Yeah. Well, that's what I mean, is like, there's no like crowning one. Like, we have the Lord of the Rings by name is what I'm speaking about. Like, the Lord of the Rings is their, like, the mythos of the Brentons, the British people that came from, the island itself, conquered by whoever got there. But, the story of those people on that island is it's meant to be their mythology. The Shire is quite literally the English countryside. Whereas, the United States has Star Wars, where it creates this, very American style of overcoming the sins of the father. That's kind of the young boys tend to take that kind of interpretation, that you overcome the bad that preceded you. And then Dragon Ball shows up with this story about the purity of strength, the purity of seeking the challenge and never destroying the opportunity to make a friend. And it's a very it's a up and coming, life changing story. I wouldn't so much say it's a coming of age story anymore. Goku's firmly in his 30s now, 40s.
I think he's in his 40s.
Yeah, so it's not really a coming of age story anymore. But neither was Lord of the Rings really a coming of age story. It could have been, I guess. Frodo was pretty childlike, so I guess you could say it's a coming of age story. Luke certainly is. Luke's story is certainly that. I never got that. I gather Lucas has said that, but I don't interpret Darth Vader as Nixon. Or Kennedy or any of them. I don't look at Palpatine and see Reagan. I just don't. So I don't know. I don't see like Clinton either. I don't see. I don't know. I don't interpret teddy bears in the woods as the Viet Cong. I just don't. I don't look at the Viet Cong and the teddy bear. I absolutely don't make that connection. But it's just me. But it is what it is. Their movies don't really have stable ones either, other than the one we named. Oh, okay. Sung Wukong is. Yeah, okay. So that is their story. They just keep
You
relabeling
just keep
it.
remaking it over and over and over again.
Huh, it's very Chinese. What is the Korean one?
I don't know.
Mongolians? I don't really know. I don't know what the Korean one is. Yeah, in China, it's true. It is really the cyberpunk hell we were warned about in the 80s. If when you explain it like that, obviously they're meant to be some type of rebel group. I just never interpreted them to be the Charlies. It never occurred to me that the teddy bears were meant to be the Viet Cong. But again, like I don't think Lucas is any less of a creator. I don't think anybody's evil for that understanding of it, even if Lucas came out and said that. I'm just not. I don't think you should go to hell for finding the parallels there or him explaining those parallels. I just don't see it. I don't dismiss it like it shouldn't exist. It's just that's not my interpretation. It's very hard for me to make the leap from Starman teddy bear with a spear to Viet Cong soldier. It just.
I think that was probably kind of the point.
Oh, so you wouldn't connect it. Okay. Had they been human, the connection probably would have been more obvious.
Yeah, probably.
That's fair. Probably because of how harmless they are. It just doesn't. Sure. I mean, but a lot of people interpret Back to the Future to be a story about incest. So, going back in time to fuck your mom. So, I don't get that out of it, but I've heard a lot of guys talk like that. So. Cute, cuddly communists.
I mean, on the surface, they're cute and cuddly, but.
It's really funny. Yeah, like that should be a t-shirt. Cute, cuddly communists. That's funny. Sure. I don't know why Zemeckis would ever agree to the story being labeled that, but yeah, again, it's interpretation, and that's, as much as it irks me, there are people that get my stuff misinterpreted, and it's just what it is, But again, it's about teddy bears in the woods, so it's one of those things.
I think your camera's frozen, Cider.
Well, probably. So, right, the Netflix. So Netflix is teaming up.
Yeah, your camera is definitely frozen.
Okay, I'll fix it.
So hold on a second. But this is good. The partnership before Cider comes back. Here's the thing with Mappa and Netflix's partnership here. This is strengthening their partnership because Mappa has been partners with Netflix for a really long time. I would say since at least 2017. Yeah, since at least 2017, Netflix has had Mappa anime on there, like because we're talking like at least like Kakiguri was a Netflix exclusive anime. So this is definitely strengthening their ties to it. Their ties with Mappa. Mappa and Netflix are doing that, and also you have Netflix has exclusive anime from Mappa like Rama Half now, which they have that. They also have, I know this is Warner Brothers. They have the deal, what Netflix does with having Record of Ragnarok is Warner Brothers. JoJo is a Warner Brothers anime. I know it's crazy that it's Warner Brothers anime, but it's Warner Brothers anime licensed by Warner Brothers. But yeah, so Netflix does have deals with those two specifically that I know of, but I don't know if they'll have live action Chainsaw Man or Jujutsu Kaisen. There is live action JoJo now that I remember, but it's not Netflix JoJo. There's live action.
Thank God.
There is a live action JoJo that exists. It's actually not that bad. It's Diamond is Unbreakable that has a live action.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, they did a really decent job with it.
Yeah, they look like the guys. How about that? They're not like completely changed into irrecognizable parodies.
Yeah, they
of
got the hair.
characters.
They got the hair
How about
down
that?
really nicely. Look at that. Look at that hair
If you're gonna do anything right about JoJo, you got to get the costumes right.
and the hair. If you do not have the hair
Obviously.
down, like no, because that's what Jessica Keizo for is his hair.
I don't know why everyone's fixated on that, but that's funny.
But yeah, the JoJo live action is actually pretty decent.
So there you go.
But
Well,
but yeah, a lot of people what they're worried about is the fact that they're fixated on this comment from Otsuka saying that Mappa wants to go global. Mappa said that they wanted to go global like ages ago. It's nothing new. Like Otsuka was talking about in an interview in I think it was last year or 2 years ago about the globalization of dubs and like made the comparison to or he was praising Pokemon's localization and changing the names up so that a wider audience can enjoy it. I was like, yeah, that was not the right thing to do. Of all the anime you could have picked out, you picked that one. And I don't remember which interview it was, but I know that I think maybe it was that same interview, and I think it was with Real Sound if I remember correctly. But they were Mappa was talking about their global expansion and trying to have studios like worldwide. So this isn't them talking about like globalization and stuff like that. This isn't new. So people flipping out are just like, dude, you just have not read Mappa interviews. You just don't know.
all of them are going global.
Yeah, all these studios are going global. And it's probably like if this means that they will do in-house animation and not outsource to China, that would be a great thing. In Mappa's case.
It might be asking a bit much.
That is asking a lot. Especially since the majority of Mappa's budget, from what I understand, goes towards hiring talent. So, AKA like the directors and stuff. So, yeah. Okay, you're not frozen anymore.
It keeps freezing, so I might do it again. Just so you know. I'm not doing it on purpose. I might just do it again because it wants to. So, okay. Well, we did forget one thing on the Dragon Ball thing. I forgot it. So here it is. They added Vegeta and Bulma to a bath scene in Kakarot.
Yes, and that does include the botched dub line.
Hey, Vegeta!
What? Oh,
Pull your stubborn hat out of your princely Saiyan butt! Quit flailing around and let the others fight too!
I refuse. If I can't win this on my own, then I'd rather die trying.
You're being a total man baby!
See what I mean?
And get down here! And if you don't, I swear I'm never taking another bath with you for as long as I live!
I'm stepping aside. You can take it from here.
The man baby line, yeah. That's in the dub of the Dragon Ball Daima anime too. Instead of calling him stupid, Bulma calls him a man baby.
What? Why though?
That's
Why?
what the dub wanted to do.
Okay. Well, I mean, it feels like something Bulma would say, so I can't deny that. But stupid is definitely more her speed than man baby. But it is still a funny thing, a funny scene.
It's Monica Rial that's doing it, so it's like.
It just keeps getting worse.
Remember, Monica Rial voices Bulma. This isn't Tiffany Bulmer. It's Monica Rial that's doing it.
Sad. Oh well. We had. It is a funny scene though to see Vegeta react that way. So I mean, it's easy to overlook, I guess, because of the comedy of the scene. So we could at least bless thank the blessings of the Japanese creators who created a scene that's pretty much foolproof. You know, you could forgive the dub because the scene itself just overrides what everybody's saying. So,
like they could have done anything else. Well, at least it's not incel, I guess.
I calling Vegeta an incel is pretty crazy. Wow, I'm not ready for that one, but I'm sure it's coming down the line eventually. But anyway, he was being childish.
I mean, Dragon Ball dub has always been bad, but like that Daima dub, man, whew, some of the slang that's in there is just so bad.
They're trying too hard.
They are.
So it is what it is, though, and like Alpha Omega says, it's just a bad line. So
it is. It is. It's better to save Baka than it is to save Man Baby.
Even so, but now that we've got that out of the way, we do have the Cyborg 009 preview trailer here.
Yes, and then after that, I've actually found the stuff for Jujutsu Kaisen for the Kill Bill comparison, because man, Japan is not having it.
Okay.
With Jujutsu Kaisen, I'm not having it either. I'm so pissed off about it too. Oh my god. But yeah, Cyborg 099. It's a very old series, and
yes.
to see it get an anime right now is really nice. It looks beautiful.
This is from the 60s, isn't it?
Yep. It's coming. This one's coming out in 2026. It's either 60s or 70s.
68. No, it was 68 when it came out. So this is one of those ones that's reliving the magic. And Cyborg 009 has always been one of those ones that you can really screw up an update with really easily. Because of the bizarreness of the early 60s storytelling. You had like a super powered baby that was telepathic, and just a lot of really off the wall fun ideas, very exciting ideas. But when you try to modernize it for a more serious presentation, it tends to dip. Granted, Cyborg 009 did have its very dark moments in the original series, of course, but translated for today, they are very bizarre. And so it's one of those ones you have to be very, very much in love with the series to get it right. And I'm just not one of those guys that's deeply in love with 009. I don't hate it, but the people who behind this one do appear to be, at least in this preview material, not trying to, act as the Ouroboros eating its own tail. They appear to be giving this their best shot. There was one recently that redid it that was just way edgelordy. I remember that. They were like, the preview had them like killing people and things like that with blood splashes everywhere. It was really, really violent. So, and again, not that Cyborg 009 isn't violent, of course, but the level of violence translated for modern animation was just very strange. So we now have the Jujutsu Kaisen.
So basically what happened, and this pissed me off, and it pissed off Japan off as well. So basically, in this past week's episode of Jujutsu Kaisen, which was when Maki massacred the Zenin clan, Mappa decided it was a good idea to put a Kill Bill reference in there, including the music. And it's like, really? Why?
I guess it's because they look so similar.
Oh, did they not? I guess they didn't include the Kill Bill music.
Here. Is it not?
No, it's not the actual music like I thought it was. No, it's different music in the actual. It's different music in the actual episode. God damn it, stupid fucking TikTok person. Oh, I'll have to find the actual thing. Just give me a second. But like that, sure. That really. Let me just find it.
This has always kind of been my problem with anime kind of taking too much inspiration in its scene designs and scene execution from movies, because it becomes almost irresistible to try and recreate the movie through the anime, the movie scene through the anime, not the whole movie, obviously. And I get that there's a lot of inspiration. This club exists in Japan. It's a real place, or at least it's implied to be a real place. To my understanding, it is anyway. I could be wrong. But this kind of like one-to-one stuff gets really irresistible to kind of complete the circle. And so I'm kind of disappointed that they stuck the Kill Bill music in here, but I understand how they got there. Just got so excited and wrapped up in what they were doing that, you know, kind of missed the majesty of their own creation, trying to tie it to the excitement that was in that Kill Bill scene. And of all the songs too, I mean, that's the woohoo, woohoo, right? That's the one with the Japanese girls that are just doing that. Isn't that the song?
I'm trying to see if I could find it. See if this is it. Hold on a second. Let me just put myself on mute real quick.
Yeah. She's going as fast as she can, ladies and gentlemen. She's going as fast as she can. Jujutsu Kaisen kicked off a race war between hood weebs and Japanese.
Okay,
so many liberal uses of Koroboro.
I was trying to find one that had like the actual comparison, but I'm not.
Well, if you could just show us the scene, the actual scene itself, we can probably piece together.
Yeah, here we go. Let's see. Here's the scene itself. Let me see if I can find one with the actual.
Well, I think we could probably derive it from.
Oh, here's one. Here's someone that put like the images together side by side. I believe. Yeah. At least this might help. But There's the clip. Just put the clip in. Show the clip at least, and you could have the music playing on this. You'll see. You'll see what I mean. Why? Like I had to almost put it on mute. I couldn't watch it. It was with the sound on. It was really, really bad. Oh, hold on a second. I might have found one. Hold on. Let me see if the music is.
So it's not the
here.
Music.
No, the music is there. It's the Kill Bill music. It's there.
Okay. So this is different from the one you just sent me.
Yeah, this should have the actual music from the episode.
Oh, I thought you were sending me another link. I'm sorry.
Yeah. See what I mean?
This is from Kill Bill.
That's what they're comparing it to. Yeah, the music is from Kill Bill, but yeah, this is definitely Kill Bill inspired. I will have the shots for you in a second. Hold on, I'm gonna send it to you on Slack because someone actually put stuff.
I got it right here.
Oh, you have it?
Short. It's just a short.
Yeah. Hopefully it has the music.
前まで席を置いていた。きっとそれが私たちの正解だったんだろうな。全部。
Was that the music?
It's more focused on the animation.
That animation is so bad.
I just in the scene from this, I remember there being the two women that are singing "woohoo, woohoo, hoo" while she's killing the crazy 88s. I don't remember this click clack thing that's doing. I see the parallel because it's obviously the same space that she's fighting in, or at least the space that's inspired by that one. We'll go back to the link you sent me here. It's obviously inspired by the Kill Bill space. You can see the light up floor that's here, and this is a very similar space to where, because it has the overhead here. I want to say this is an actual bar somewhere in Japan, but because again, like it's very strange to just pull this out of nowhere, and I doubt that they built that for Kill Bill specifically. That seems like a lot. So again, Hollywood goes crazy though. Who knows? They could have built that complete set, but this is very much inspired by wherever the crazy 88s were in Kill Bill, the bar that they were in, that had Charlie Brown, the bartender there, that were at least the runner of the restaurant that was being harassed by the Crazy 88s. And I just don't remember this music being in that one. I remember the hold on, let me just try to find it. Crazy 88s. So where is it where they're all attacking her? Yeah, here. Okay, all right. So it wasn't the woohoo. It was this. I see that they're pulling from the scene animation wise, but maybe the music's the same.
There's a different scene where they got the music. I guess it must have been a different scene where they got the music from, I guess, because it was just so bizarre.
It is the Kill Bill space, though. This is very much the same arena that she's killing in. I think they just took off the, like where she's got designs behind her. Trying to find a wide shot. See if we can find a wide shot of, yeah, there it is. You can see it's the same style, it's same space, staircases, same place, glass floor. It's very much inspired by this space. So I gather why people are drawing the comparisons, particularly with the camera shots as well. But the music definitely got lost in that. So yeah, I don't feel the music either. So that's probably, again, maybe somebody's edit came through and changed that because it was like, oh, this is like Kill Bill. I'll put the Kill Bill music behind it. And maybe that got around before the actual scene did, but it's definitely drawing like camera shots and action from that.
What I sent you is someone posted like screenshot comparisons side by side, like still, so you could get a better idea in terms of like.
This was on Reddit?
No, I sent it to you on Slack.
Oh. Okay, there's all right, images. All right. Give me a minute, fellas. Gotta dig up some images here. Let's see. There we go. We'll drop that in there. So yeah, it's very much inspired by the Kill Bill space.
Yeah,
look at that. There's the staircase. There's the staircase. Yeah. There. Yeah, it's very inspired by it. I don't think it's a one-to-one, like we're copying, oh boy, I forgot the act, Uma Thurman's movements. I don't think that's happening here, but they definitely drew a lot of inspiration from the fight with Crazy 88s for this. So I think you could probably see it most prominently with, yeah, there it is. The glass floor.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the architecture of the building we just saw in the previous screenshots. Again, it's not evil. I've said before, it's not evil. It's just one of those things where, like, the desire to completely recreate that movie scene is so great that it does bleed through a little bit. So, but it's not obviously a one-to-one, but they did take a lot of inspiration from the Kill Bill one. And this apparently pissed off the Japanese fans?
Yeah, and a lot of... Here's what at least one fan had to say, because a lot of the Japanese fans were getting annoyed, and it caused like a little bit of a cultural war kind of situation, because Americans were like,
Alpha Omega was mentioning that.
Yeah, a lot of American fans were not happy that Japanese fans were criticizing Jujutsu Kaisen.
Daffy writes, actually, hating on this JJK episode, these new gen anime fans are a different level of ungrateful. And so Makura Amirs, anyway, this character person says, man, the way foreigners and Japanese people perceive things is seriously off base. While Japanese folks are watching the work as a whole, most foreigners are just eyeing the movement. They completely ignore the content and then go full brain then like, ooh, God tier animation. Really? That was, wow, the standards are low. Anyway,
yeah.
You've got One Punch Man season 3, so, as long as you're not going that low. But only hyping up the visuals, shit tier BGM, I can't lie. That scene. Hopefully, somebody like separates the sound and puts in something cooler there. Baffling original source changes, random anime original additions, overdone direction, and Shinichi-kun casually taking a stroll while his buddies are on the brink of death. So
yeah, they did change a lot of it in terms of like the cinematography. They did change some of the camera angles and stuff like that. So yeah, I totally understand where they're coming from in regards to that. I will say this though, to play devil's advocate, some of the stuff that they did, like what I appreciated was like the Sin City style of art animation where the blood was like the only color that really popped out. I wish they would have just done that the entire time, but they did do some really cool stuff with like the reverse negative contrast, like later on in the massacre that I really did find cool. But like in all reality, I just wish they would have just done like the Sin City style of black and white with the red popping out, or with the red being the only color. I just think that would have really helped make with the art and animation, that and make it a lot more fluid.
Oh, it is a place, the Gonpachi restaurant. Okay. I had no idea. Apparently it's a very iconic place. I had no idea it was real. Not that it looks fake. I'm not saying our craftsmanship is awful or anything. It just a very interesting place to have a glass illuminated floor. I think there's water underneath it too. So it's very, very unique architecture. So okay, I'm an American. It's unique to me. It might not be unique in Japan. I have to remember that a lot of things that we find over here that are just wow, crazy are just sort of normal everyday things for them. So.
But like this is not just unique to Jujutsu Kaisen, especially this episode. This happens a lot where Chainsaw Man's a great example of this, where the Japanese fans were not happy with Chainsaw Man season 1, and the American fans loved Chainsaw Man season 1. Because they were not Japanese fans were not happy that the art and animation wasn't true to, the manga, whereas the American fans, a lot of them did give a crap because they like that cinematic style.
Well, you might be dealing with people who are anime only and people who are manga and anime. And that makes a big difference when you know what the source material, the manga itself, looks like compared to how the anime turned out. Sort of like how we're looking at this comparisons with One Punch Man season 3 and how different they are there and the different scenes that they're creating as sort of filler when they don't want to do something from the manga or find it too difficult. Maybe they create a different scene entirely. So we're seeing that. Well, maybe it's not difficult, but for time, I guess maybe that makes more sense.
Well, yeah, it was for time with One Punch Man.
JC staff,
any time to do it.
So this again, like these changes that the Americans appreciate, we're just sort of looking at it dead on. It's sort of like how American fans. I am speaking for myself. Let me put it this way: I, as an American fan, I prefer Zoid's Zero Century with Liger Zero than the previous series with Van and the Blade Liger. I am not, which is the original Zoid's anime, if you will, as far as like the modernist look at it. The original Zoid's anime is the story of Van and the Blade Liger and Zeke the Organoid. Now, the story with Bit Cloud and Liger Zero is a story that happens after that. But we as Americans got the Liger Zero story first, and I prefer it. Whereas it's not the Japanese fans' favorite series, rather the first installment is, because that was their first introduction to it. So I guess that's maybe what I'm trying to say, is that people who are introduced to this through the manga are going to have problems with the inaccuracy, and people who are introduced to it through the anime are not. So I guess maybe that's what comic book fans and movie fans kind of come to heads over, a lot of the time. So there was another, the Super Mario Galaxy.
Yes, we had the Super Mario Galaxy movie trailer come out. And this is the Japanese dub, which is the one that, of course, I'm going to be watching over the American or the English version. And we have Yoshi and Birdo introduced in this trailer, and they look adorable.
How do you speak Japanese with an Italian accent?
さて、詰まったとかはどこです？
The maracas get me every time, though. I laugh every time with the maracas. It's great. You burnt off your ponchos, you idiots. Now you're gonna have to go through the sun with your suspenders.
怖くない、怖くない。あー、やっぱり怖い。あそこが詰まってる。
Yes, it's not Chris Pratt.
It's still not high pitched enough.
Yeah. 怖がらないで。
People love the cinematic.
There's Birdo. And yes, there was Mauser too.
誰です？
いくよ。
そりゃ新入りの恐竜が可愛いですよね。はあ。
He sounds just as disappointed in the Japanese version. I'm still disappointed that the logo doesn't spell Mr. Gay with the little twinkling lights.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a missed opportunity. You are Mr. Gay. If you played the Super Mario series or watched the Game Grumps series on it, you'll know about the "You are Mr. Gay" trick to the logo. And I miss it. This is Babel with more Babel. What? Yeah, well, the sparkle's on the logo anyway, right? Still sorry, you are Mr. Babel, though. Which, the tower? No, that can't be right. It's spelled differently. Is there an anime called Babel? Is there a video game that did this? A movie? I don't know. But Luigi getting his first taste of hunting things in the dark here. Pretty good. Pretty good. We like.
There's also like the ending of the trailer was a reference to the I think it was Yoshi or Super Mario Safari, or was it Safari? Something like that, or Yoshi Safari.
Yoshi's Island?
No. There's like a Mario Safari game.
Of course. Why wouldn't there be?
That came out like in the 90s, I believe.
It's gonna be funny when they get to Dr. Mario. That's gonna be funny. Oh, the language.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah.
The other thing I forgot to mention was in terms of Dragon Ball, going back to that for a second, is that with the Dragon Ball Super anime is moving to a seasonal schedule, from what I understand.
Mm.
So it's following One Piece's footsteps.
Well, you know, that's good. You know, it would be kind of funny for Nintendo's doing everything right now. They just did Pokemon, Legos, and Mario's getting Legos now.
Yeah, Zelda got Legos recently.
Zelda did, okay.
Yeah, Zelda had the Deku Tree set, and they are releasing the Gandalf Final Battle set, I believe it is, from Ocarina of Time. And then I think those are the only two Zelda sets that got released recently. I think there's supposed to be more coming out, though. Because this is Zelda. What? This is Zelda's 40th anniversary, or 30? Yeah, I think it's Zelda's 40th anniversary that's coming up.
A lot of those going around.
It's either 40th or 30th, one of the two.
I would hazard 40th, but this would be fun to see a manga series about kind of like what they're doing independent of, you know, the platforming gameplay, you know. But what they set up in the movie would be a fun world to play around with, like you know, just the story of Mario and Luigi.
I thought I said Ganondorf. I'm sorry, Spencer.
Oh.
I mean, there is a Mario manga that came out years ago.
It'd be funny Legend of Zelda story where Gandalf's the villain. That'd be funny.
There is a Zelda manga. There's a few of them actually.
Oh yeah, Dr. Mario. Yeah, they just take it super seriously, and he's a doctor in the ER.
Oh my god,
That's terrible.
It'd be Dr. Mario MD, or no, it'd be Mario MD.
Yeah, Mario MD, like House, and he'd have a cane
Yeah.
and be very grumpy. Yeah. But so I do, just before we wrap up here, I do have an update about Space Sheriff Gavan Infinity. Of course, as we know, they will be occupying the time slot of Super Sentai going forward from February 15th. There's a cafe. There's a Gavan Infinity Cafe now. So if you're interested, it's somewhere in Japan. Good luck. And I just want to bring up here that we do have some explanation on the Gavan Luminous character. They are apparently a forensic duo from Earth 15 or I-5109. Feels like a radio station. I-5109, bringing you the hits of twin anime girls or twin tokusatsu girls. But they appear to be some type of back-to-back crime fighting duo from their own universe already. And it's still unclear how two become one. Apparently, both of them are Gavan Luminous, could be at the same time, like Firestorm, or could be independently. They trade off powers depending on who's the most useful wearing the suit. But man, that gun looks gigantic on her. I did not. That's a tiny lady. That is a very. It's like I think I have Gavan holding the gun. Yeah. So when you look at this, that's a very tiny lady. That is a very tiny lady. Wow. No wonder she's wearing such big shoes. But my gosh, she's just like the size of a 12-year-old. And when you take a look at the gun on him, she's like the size of a 12-year-old. This is crazy. They here, no, take the extra big gun, not the regular size one. Take the big one. And then, of course, it's even made even worse because her partner has the smaller gun. My God.
The smaller gun looks like a Wii Zapper, like one of those Mad Catz Wii Zappers from back in the day.
I have no idea what that is, but
you don't remember the Wii guns from back in like the mid 2000s that you could get, where you put your Wiimote in there. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I
yeah,
don't remember
that's
the whole
what it looks
gun,
like.
but I remember the tennis racket because I had that.
Yeah, there was
Maybe
that's
where
the
they got the
Wii.
idea.
Well, there's the Wii gun. The Nintendo brand Wii gun was like this big, and then there was the third party brand Wii guns that look like the one on the right. Look more like the one on the right. That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah, okay, I see it. Like Nerf had a baby with a Wii gun.
Yeah. Nerf. Nerf actually had a Wii Zapper. That's what it looks like. That actually looks more like the Nerf one than the
Maybe
Mad
the Wii
Catz.
just suffered because nobody knew what the hell it did. You know, crazy stuff that it did. You know, maybe that's why it suffered. It just had too many opportunities, too many options. You know,
There's so many accessories for the Wii.
there were, but. Anyway, so we have a little bit more clarification on these two. Not much, but we do have a little bit more clarification. They come from another multiverse. So I guess I'm still right. It's very confusing how they put this stuff out. And I'm sure the language barrier isn't helping here because Grok just sort of makes shit up sometimes. I've learned that recently. It's almost worse than Google Translate because Grok will just invent a whole fucking sentence. So it's awesome to go through this. So from what I can piece together, all of the characters that are Gavans are from different universes. I can't be 100% sure because they keep presenting it as them all being in one universe together. So it's gotta wait to the 15th, I guess, to get an idea of how this goes. So it's a little irritating, but I understand why they're keeping the mystery together because it is a brand new series as far as like they're trying to relaunch everything. So I understand, but it is irritating to not know how these characters are fitting together. We do have another 2 weeks left before it actually super duper matters, or 3 weeks. So they might come out with more information that clarifies all of this, maybe. But for now, it's just very annoying to not be able to directly place where everybody is. This is a good start, but I really would like it if it was cleared up that he's some type of multiverse jumper that's making his team as opposed to having the team already. Oh well. Like I said, they're getting it off the ground. This is definitely a huge step for Toei. They're doing a lot of risk taking with this. It merges together the Gavan series that people are familiar with from the mid 80s to, I want to say it made it to the 90s. Takes the Gavan series and mashes it up with Super Sentai elements. A little bit of Kamen Rider mixed in there too, but mostly Super Sentai is the mixture that's mixed with Gavan now. And Gavan is now a rank, some type of rank, as opposed to a guy. So that's new. But we'll have to wait and see how they're going to do it. So,
well, let's be real. Toei's been taking a lot of risks. I mean, look at Digimon Beat Break, what we've been getting. This past week for Granite, we found out that he's one of the members of Tactic 7. We got his backstory, and he is a war refugee. And we saw what happened to him, and it was brutal. We saw his friend die in front of him via a bombing.
What franchises are in this multiverse? They're not revealing like head-on franchises, but Gavan is clearly mixing Sentai. It's clearly mixing Gavan, and of course, as like the base, and Kamen Riders mixed in here too. I do feel some elements of Ultraman, but they're really loose. It's more in the cosmic end of it, where it's nebulous over who's counting, who's giving the orders here, and the character's own motivations. But ultimately, it really does feel like a police Sentai. That appears to, because they have not revealed that Project Red going forward is going to have like Gavan continuing on as a continuous series, but they have introduced, there are going to be 2 more at least of the Project Red franchise itself. They have already released something that looks like a Guyver. I don't know where the preview picture is to even begin to find it for you. It's deeply in my bookmarks. I have no idea where it is at the moment, but it looks a bit like a Guyver. I don't know. I think Toei owns Guyver, so they could definitely do that. I guess we're reviving the 90s. It's like that meme, like, oh shit, I didn't know. I guess we're making the 90s again, the guy in the factory with the lever, and all of a sudden it's just 90s products again. Because if we're bringing back Guyver, I mean, hell, what's holding you from Blue SWAT? Just bring back Blue SWAT, dude. Just do the 90s all over again, Toei owns everything, I would know.
Well, it's either Toei or Katakawa at this point, or Sony.
We're going to find out, definitely. We're going to find out at the end of the stream what Toei owns, that's for sure. Here's Sagittarius Seiya asking, did you know about Aaron Shonki? I'm gonna assume I said that right. And Bat in the Sun. The only thing I know about Bat in the Sun is that they had the Legend of the White Dragon before Jason David Frank passed away, and they have been completely paralyzed with being able to release that. So I have no idea if that actually came through or if it went bankrupt or what happened. I just tuned out after JDF passed away because I was not. I guess I just didn't want to see what they turned that into or what it eventually evoked in the fans. I guess I lost interest. Have you heard the rumors that Power Rangers reboot have another female Red Ranger?
Oh my god.
I don't know. Some casting stuff came out 2 weeks ago about an actress being somewhat chosen for Rita, being explored for Rita. I don't know if that's a good way to say it, but I don't know anything else about the casting because I try to wait until like there's a consensus as opposed to original or like a random post, because I fell for that with the Gavan Infinity casting a couple weeks ago, and I'm really hesitant now to be like, I saw this thing and it must be true, because some people hit like on it. I can't trust that anymore, you know?
God, I just wish they would just move on from MMPR already. Like, I think the majority of us do.
Sakuramita says it would be worse if a female Red Ranger is another MMPR suit they're using. Well, you know, Sakuramita echoes what you're saying here. Good luck marketing when you're still using the 90s MMPR. And even if they went and created a new series, it's going to have that DNA of MMPR because they have to keep the older fans engaged. And as far as they're concerned, nobody cares about anything other than 5 teenagers with attitude in Angel Grove, California. So who knew? You know, who knew? 28 other teams to have fun with, but they're not good enough. So,
well, as long as you don't use turbo, I think they would be okay.
Even then, you could just redo it, you know?
Well, as long as you don't have Justin in there.
Well, I don't think you can. I mean, the guy's ancient now, so he wouldn't be a part of it. It wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't be a reboot then.
No, it'd be AKA just not casting another little kid like they.
Oh, the character of Justin. Oh,
yeah.
Sure. You know, I suppose they could have Tom Holland play a 15-year-old. But,
have Tom Holland come in and play Justin and piss everyone off.
Yeah, he's in middle school though, so you have like this 25-year-old guy going around pretending he's in middle school, wearing the overall suspenders and stuff. Why not? Why not? Right? What are you gonna do, Tom Holland? Go to a Zendaya concert?
Well, maybe at this point, he's got nothing better to do.
I've seen Beekman's World. I grew up with Fox Kids. I didn't have it all the time. We had the, you know, it was only when we were camping that I got it. But yeah, I remember Beekman's World. Like it wasn't like crazy, but it was off the wall, like 90s off the wall. So yeah, you know, bring it back. Let's just do that. Just bring the 90s back. Whatever, man. We're bringing back everything else. Might as well bring back the 90s.
Fuck originality. Let's just bring back the classics at this point.
Yeah, you could replace Justin with Zach, or you could just, you know, name another character and create a whole new mythos around it. They just don't want to do that because they don't feel strength. This is the thing with the corporations, and Bob Iger admitted this. It was in an earnings call. I think it 24. I think it was in 24 now. It's been that long. That he said they're only interested in doing sequels. The sequels have a guarantee.
Oh yeah, Paramount, it was like that too. I think someone at Paramount said that they were interested in only doing sequels and reboots.
Right. And now again, that does not mean that they're only going to do sequels. Of course, they're going to have things that come out, but the priority, the things that get the most polish are going to be coming from sequels. So that's why we're getting a Toy Story 7, 6.
It's
5.
Toy Story 5 right now.
Okay, that's why we're getting one of those now, even though Toys Run Amok is just still going. Anyway.
But like some sequels do work, obviously. I mean, look at Zootopia. Zootopia is a huge success.
Oh yeah, the tilted camera thing. Yeah, the Dutch angle. Yeah. Could be Lisa. Yeah. What a time, right? What a time. But that's you know, the Power Ranger thing is going to continue be a problem because Hasbro is
Hasbro's dying, let's be real.
Sure, just about every institution is these days, but Hasbro is most definitely not interested in the long-term survivability of Power Rangers as a main IP. It's really a back burner IP for them at this point. They'd like it to be a main IP for them, but the willpower to make that happen in-house isn't there. So they're outsourcing it out to Disney, who before the Disney that we know today had a pretty good run with it. So maybe we'll get lucky and these Percy Jackson guys will, you know, forgive the pun, you know, get hit by lightning and, you know, come out with, you know, something true to Disney's quality of what it was when we were growing up. I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't have faith,
but I have my fingers crossed. Okay. I still believe that there might be some gas left in the tank out there where they say, no, we're not going to do Mighty Morphin. Instead, we're going to take Mystic Force because that's the most Disney friendly property. We take Mystic Force and we're going to redo Mystic Force from the ground up. We're going to wipe out the cast, wipe out the setting. We're going to take the suits, we're going to take the designs, and we're just going to go from there. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe, but I doubt it.
But they could redo Megaforce for fuck's sake, because Megaforce had the concept was there, but like God, it was just horribly written.
It's the universe, the Power Rangers universe is primed to behave like the MCU. And I as much as the MCU has become a formulaic mess, you know, the Power Rangers universe, moreover than Marvel, really lends itself to that kind of compounded storytelling. This is what made Power Rangers unique from Super Sentai, is because the Power Rangers tried to tie it all together into one mythos, whereas Super Sentai was like, no, this is a completely different story over here. They'll meet up in a movie, and that'll be the only connecting tissue to even the previous team, let alone the greater universe. I think it was only in the past 15 years that they've tried to really Go Kaiser, I think, was really the first attempt to bring everything into a full uniformed universe. There were anniversary specials that had other Rangers show up, but they didn't go on to continue communicating with each other unless an anniversary series came up again. And Go Kaiser was the first to try and melt it all into one universe.
I mean, look at, and I sent this to you too. Look at the top, I sent it to you on Slack a while ago, the top 25 highest grossing media franchises of all time. Shonen Jump is destroying the MCU.
Yeah.
Pokemon's destroying everybody. Pokemon and Hello Kitty are destroying everybody. But the fact that you have Shonen Jump, of all things, destroying Harry Potter, it breaks my heart that I have to say Harry Potter because I'm a Potterhead. The MCU and Spider-Man and Batman, for that matter, that says a lot.
Well, arguably, arguably, Pokemon is telling a story that is pretty. The entry point is low, and you don't have to be invested in it. You don't have to know what's going on. You know, again, it's more leaning into its iconography than it is like the story it tells.
Yeah,
Winnie the Pooh is another one that does that. Star Wars is pretty high up there though, because it's got a pretty set story.
Yeah. And
Disney
also,
Princess is a bit. What's that?
Well, also Star Wars has like an expanded universe with the books and I believe comics too, if I remember correctly.
I don't know. Just money wise, just pure money wise, I guess.
Well, yeah, there's the books, there's the toys, there's obviously the movies, there's the stuff at Disneyland and Disney World. But yeah,
more of what I'm speaking to about that is that a lot of Dragon Ball's original like money generation.
Star Wars?
Oh no! He asked me here, how is Dragon Ball losing to MCU? And so a lot of Dragon Ball's market space or market occupation was in Japan for most of its life.
Yeah.
It's really only been the past 25 years, I guess. It's been like a big thing in the US. Goku getting his own parade float or parade balloon.
Because it didn't come out in the US until what, like 2000? Like late 90s?
Yeah, late 90s anyway, when we got a hold, because we got Dragon Ball Z before we got Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know when it came out in like Latin America, or it might have come out sooner in Latin America. And,
probably sooner, Europe. At least Brazil anyway. But that's why is that as far as like the yen versus the dollar conversion goes, it's probably why Dragon Ball has much less money than the MCU, because the MCU is just primarily in the US and selling at top dollar most of the time.
Well, it's
unless
not just
of course
that.
you're the Eternals, and then then you end up in all.
Well, it's not just that. It's just like compared to the MCU. The MCU has a ton of marketing, especially in the US. Dragon Ball does not have as much marketing in the US as the MCU. Like you don't see like commercials for Dragon Ball everywhere like you do for the MCU.
Yeah, the Power Rangers aren't on here, and they're not going to be. The Power Ranger stuff just sells horrible, and it has for a really, really long time. Again, since they've started prioritizing the adult audience over the children. I get it. People want to have their collectible figures. I just don't think that should be the focus of the toy making company. But I understand that they did that because it makes more money in the shorter term. even if they don't complete the original agreement that they said they were going to. The Lightning Collection is a good example of this, but you're not going to see Power Rangers up on this list. I'm not even sure they'd fit in the top 100 at this point, because it really is. It's a fallen franchise to the point where it survives exclusively on nostalgia baiting. They've given up on telling a new story. Everything's wrapped around Mighty Morphin backwards and forwards. It just is what it is.
I mean, look at Gundam. Gundam is surviving based on the model kits, and model kits are becoming more available, like worldwide, especially like in U.S. stores. You're seeing, I've talked about before, Gundam kits are showing up at Target. They're showing up at Hobby Lobby, at Michael's. They're showing up. I've seen some at even at Ross too, in discount stores, and like the half off stores starting to get Gundam model kits too. Yeah. Like liquidation stores. So it's like Gundam is being, and obviously Barnes and Nobles too. So it's like, dude, Gundam is becoming more available, just like Dragon Ball is becoming more available. But that's why Gundam, I think, is doing so well, is because Gundam is, because it's becoming much more widely available. People are starting to get interested in it, and it's beyond like just a simple Gundam fan. Like model kit, people who love model kits are starting to get interested in Gundam.
Sure. And Gundam also, for the Western fan, tells a refreshing story. So we're not used to this kind of, we're used to World War II stories. I'll just cut to the chase. We're used to World War II stories. So giant robot war in space, pretty fun. It may have World War II parallels to it, because of course Neo Zeon and Zeon proper use a lot of iconography and energy from the Nazis, if you will. So even though I prefer the Zeon cause because of what the Federation did to them in that story, so it's one of those things. But it's a very difficult one, because we're used to very clear-cut stories. I think that's why Gundam, the story, catches on here when it does like have a Iron-Blooded Orphans or a Gundam Wing story, because it draws on how both sides make mistakes. Yeah. It's one of Tomino's sort of one of the things he likes, or rather sewed into the story of Gundam, is that in war there is no right side. And it does become like that very quickly in Gundam. In any story that you're in, there's always a side that goes too far, and then the hero side or the opposing side goes too far on top of that. It's a one-upsmanship of brutality for a while. And that's new for Americans. We're not used to that. We're used to, that guy's a Nazi, we got to go kill him. And we're used to that. We're not used to, you do evil things as evil as I do, but I'm going to stop the evil. We're not used to that. Like Amuro Ray and, his sins, we're just not used to the protagonist being like that in a war story. We're used to I'm an American and I'm going to punch a Nazi, because why not? We'll just do that for 70 fucking years. It's almost like the superhero stories. Jeez,
they don't want to expand from the Nazis or the Russians.
Right. This conflict that happened 80 years ago is the only conflict we're allowed to talk about. That's it. Everything else is forbidden, off limits.
Or activist crap. Well, I don't want to say crap, but like they want to talk about fighting like their own cause.
Maybe we stop.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing to do, because it's like, if it's your story, do what you want. But it's also gonna like alienate a good chunk of your audience.
Maybe we just stop trying to kill people we don't like in real life. Maybe we just stop doing that, Maybe we just stop trying to create characters that are stand-ins for people we hate, and we just want to kill those characters because they're symbols of the real people. Maybe we just stop doing that and just start telling stories about, there's some assholes on Earth that fucked with this colony, and this fucking colony decided to drop a colony on Earth. Nobody did anything good here, but they've started a war now. And that's, what do you know? Because I'm an American, I don't understand the politics that are at play in Tomino's thing, other than war is bad. Here's a cool robot to prove it. It's just one of those, war is bad, and Gundam agonizes over that. So I don't see the real world political parallels that Tomino put in this, other than those incredibly obvious, and in fact stated out loud, war is bad moments in Gundam. And so there's a lot of undertones you can pick up on. IBO is really, I mean, it's hard for an American not to feel the plight of Tekadan in the Iron-Blooded Orphan story. It's hard for an American not to feel the plight of the wing pilots because they are from the colonies and they are fighting against an aristocratic, oppressive, often English and Napoleonic themed aristocracy, a group of rich people trying to tell you how to live your life. So it's very, Americans are like, yeah, fuck those rich people. You know, beat their ass with my giant robot that can't explode unless I tell it to. What do you know? The greatest threat to a Gundam is its own pilot, not the enemy's weaponry. We do have a question here. Sagittarius Seiya asks, would you like to see Turbo Ranger, Car Ranger, Go Ranger, Boom Boonger versus Zero Ranger, Abba Ranger, Kyoryuger, and We a Soldier crossover movie? It honestly sounds like a massive headache. I think the Red Rangers from those would probably be the best, honestly. That would really cut down on the amount of chaos. So they seem to be doing all right with what they're doing, crossing over King Ozier, though, with Kyoryuger. Bugs and dinosaurs. Why not? You know, bugs and dinosaurs. Sakramita asks, when I write a hero, I make character kills based on animalistic nature. From what I saw in modern heroes, mostly anti-hero, just kill for the sake of killing. It depends on the audience you're aiming for. In the West, our heroes classically are using killing as an absolute last resort, where they themselves have been backed into an actual corner with, you know, not an actual corner, but, you know, a more tangible corner where they have to kill their way out. Classically, modern heroic stories use death as a response to someone they don't like. A lot of our heroes today don't really have a reason to kill somebody. They're just provided someone evil, and the audience interprets that, aha, this person has done X and Y and Z, thus they deserve death. And that is usually why you get this anti-hero, because they can't have a prime, I think it's what it's called, a prime morality. They can't have like a prime morality, because if they have the prime morality, they end up having to choose death as a last option. Whereas the heroes we have now, choose death as a punishment rather than a defense. Closer to the Shadow, I guess. The Shadow was, you know, treating death as a punishment for your wrongdoings. The scale of your wrongdoings were, you know, depending how the writer felt about those particular wrongdoings, whether they warranted death or not. But because he wasn't just a random killer, it's something I'm trying to say. But a lot of our heroes don't go that path. That's why people admire that Batman spares the Joker despite the thousands of lives the Joker has taken. It is because it appeals to our morality that we use killing as the absolute 100% last resort. Though a lot of people want Batman to kill them. So there's that. Japanese morality is a little different. Killing is serviced as a punishment, but that punishment is at the end of an extreme battle, not extreme battle, but an extreme contest of who will die. So I think Gungrave was a good example of this. Brandon Heat was going around wiping out mafia members, and they've already killed Brandon, but they've put him in a position where he cannot complete his mission, so he has to kill them as punishment for their sins, as well as putting him in a position where he has to kill them. Spike versus Vincent is another example where Spike's morality is pushed to the edge, because while he doesn't necessarily want Vincent to keep going, he also doesn't want to. I think Vincent's a war buddy. You have to get me, you know, I think Vincent's a war buddy in this one, in that story. And so Spike doesn't want to kill him because they served in a Martian war. I want to say that's the backstory on him. And So they have like that kind of buddy at war, brothers in war sort of thing. And it's difficult for Spike to go that distance. And so Vincent crosses that for him and puts Spike in that position where he has to punish him with death. And so that's I guess that's the subtle difference that I'm trying to get at, is that like when we're going out and trying to, Vincent is who I'm talking about in the movie. Yeah. So he wasn't the war. Okay. So where did Vincent come from? Why Spike was afraid to kill him then? I'll have to watch the movie, but what I'm trying to get at is that these characters are put in a position where death becomes the punishment as also the last resort. Whereas again, as I said before, the usual classical American hero is not using death as a punishment. They are put in a position where they have to kill their way out. And that's classically how our heroes were portrayed. But again, a lot of our heroism was established in World War II. So there's a lot of that theming going on. But I could go on and on about all these themes and how they play out and completely murder the plots of actual stories because I'm misremembering them. So to spare you all of that and all the Wikipedia cruising, I hope you all have a good night. Miss Nerdigans, when the show's over, where do we find you?
You can find us on Nerdigans Inc. on YouTube, where we cover anime and manga every day. On Patreon, patreon.com/PackerGirl, where we're covering a lot of anime this season. We're covering Sosu no Freirin, Jujutsu Kaisen, Hell's Paradise Jigakuraku, Masahi no Slave, Oshinoko, Fire Force, Tune into the Midnight Heart, Vigilantes, Dead Account, Medalist, and Digimon. Yeah, no, we're covering a lot.
Yeah. You're like JC staff, but you don't suck.
Yeah. There's some anime that is a little bit more torturous than others, though. Oh my god, it's like a mixed bag. Oh boy. But obviously you can follow me on Twitter, which is right there. In terms of bounding, I've obviously been haven't been on here for a minute because I'm dealing with a really serious family situation. So I'm gonna try and start writing again this week. We got a lot of stories lined up, including some of the topics we talked about today, as well as a few interesting botched localizations, including Wobulance being inserted into a dub, and as well as Thirst being inserted into Dandadan's manga localization. What was the other one? Oh, and Inclusivity being inserted into Vigilante's subtitles. So hopefully I'll start working on that this week. We'll see how I'm feeling. It's just it's been a rough couple of weeks, guys. Yeah. It really, really has.
Well, and with that, this show is over. Thank you very much for tuning in, and until next week,